everyone to another Daniels 16 gaming video. I'm your host, Tech Daniels, and today I'm coming at you with a theory of what I think the role of Hero 27 or the program ARES, or whatever ARES is, has to do with Overwatch and possible connections that it may have with the lore of the fall of the organization. But first, before I start, there are some interesting facts that I want to point out first. Uh, most importantly, the Ares, being the Roman god Mars, is the basis for the month of March, which could be when we could possibly be seeing Ares or some form of story behind uh, the Ares program, if it actually does pertain to the story. Uh, and the male gender symbol closely being associated with a sword and shield, which are the weapons of Ares. Now, on to the more pressing thing. I want to talk about Jeff Kaplan's live stream around Christmas time when he sat in front of the fireplace and made his, I guess you could call it a shout out to Dinoplasc, using the words orca, killer whale, gratuitous. Uh, as far as everyone knows, if you take the last letters of orca, killer whale, and gratuitous, you get the letters that spell out Ares. Uh, it Ares actually sometimes referred to as Ilios, fought in the Trojan War. Why this is significant is because the city of Troy was also known as Ilios in the Greek language. A map in Overwatch seeded along the Aegean Sea through the ancient Greek language. Uh, on top of that, an orca is a killer whale. However, in this case, I'm pretty sure that it's highly likely that they're referring to the MV-261 orca that transports players to the Lijiang Tower, Nepal, and Ilios. Which, if you have been paying attention to the comments on all the latest theory videos, it's not nothing new. Uh, but I want to expand on this a little bit. I'm gonna add my own 2 cents into the mix. Uh, so I believe that there is a high probability that Ares will have some sort of connection to Reaper and possibly Soldier 76. But on top of that, there's an even higher possibility that the Ares thing isn't actually a hoax and is actually some real clue to the role that that it will play into the Overwatch lore. Uh, so let's get down to it. I actually have a list of notes here. I already went through most of them actually. Uh, wow, this is not as much as I thought I wrote. Anyway. So I managed to trace. I did a lot of research on the Ares, the god of war. Ares being and Ilios, as I've mentioned earlier, and fighting in the Trojan War against his sister Athena. Athena is also the program that created by Winston, used in Overwatch. Uh, you see, this sounds so disorganized now, but it felt so neat when I did it. Anyway, Ares has a somewhat overlooked connection with torches. In later Hellenic warfare custom in early Roman, it was tradition that when two armies met, the grounds they fought on had to be cleansed and sanctified. Each army would send a torchbearer to the center of the field, who would then launch their respective torch at the enemy army, consecrating them as well as the battlefield. These men were the priests of Ares, and the torches were used as badges of office as guides to the dead. Uh, so, what this bit of information tells us is that if should my theory be correct, if Ares, the story of Ares happens to be a part of the Overwatch lore, like even just as like an example, I guess you could say that uh, the fall of Overwatch, the rift between Jack Morrison and Gabriel Reyes, also known as Soldier at 76 and Reaper respectively, it could very well be hinting at that. Uh, Due to the fact that I guess you could say that the torchbearers would be Reaper and Soldier 76, or Jack Morrison and Gabriel Reyes. The two armies that would be conflicting could be a number of actually different things. It could be just the armies between Overwatch and Talon, Overwatch and the Omnics. I feel it's more likely to be Overwatch and Blackwatch due to all of the hints that are being dropped in the story of Ares. Uh, and the torches that were used as badges of office refer to their positions in Overwatch before their fall. I guess in this case it would be more or less the Jack Morrison being the strike commander of Overwatch, and Gabriel Reyes just kind of being in the shadows, no pun intended, more as like a secondary role. His position's not powerful enough. Uh, the reason why I bring up this interesting piece of information is I also read that Ares was invoked as an agent of retributive curses. In Achilles' plays, he led two brothers to their demise from a curse that had been uttered by their own dying father. Too busy fighting over their inheritance, they were unaware of Ares' actions and the role he played until it was too late and suffered countless losses of their army's lives. Transferring this information over to Overwatch, it could very well be hinting at the fall of Overwatch and tied to the fallout between Blackwatch and Overwatch. Or, more specifically, Reaper and Soldier 76. The two leaders held different principles, different ways of doing things that would often come to head during their missions, causing them to fail most of their missions. They would get into plenty of altercations with each other. I don't know if it's like physical or just like verbal, but the bottom line is they didn't necessarily get along because of their differences in way of doing things, or the fact that Reaper or Gabriel Reyes believes that he deserves to be the leader of Overwatch and not Jack Morrison. And the two were so blinded by their need to become the leader of Overwatch that they had basically self-destructed on the inside. And I believe that there is a third party at present who had participated in the fall of Overwatch that really just got the ball going. You know, like whispered things into Gabriel Reyes' ears, telling him, "Hey, you should be the leader of Overwatch, not this lapdog Jack Morrison. You're way better than he is." Stuff like that. And Jack Morrison, obviously, he's the kind of guy who's more or less, you know, he's out there. You know, he does what he thinks is best. Reyes does what he thinks should be done. I feel like it's just a difference in principles, and because of this, they suffered many losses. The lives of their soldiers had been lost in huge numbers, and to round back to the part about the torchbearers, I actually read in the I was reading over the Overwatch lore, the timeline written by the what was his name again? Jeff Ramos. And in the end, it marked. Let me just see if I can find it real quick. Uh, well, I'm having trouble finding it, but in the end, it said something along the lines of a uh, blast that destroyed the Overwatch headquarters uh, during a some form of altercation between Gabriel Reyes and Jack Morrison that would leave them to be presumably dead, and the battlefields of which they were fighting over engulfed in flames. It's interesting that they chose to word it that way, seeing as how, as I mentioned earlier, uh, each army would send a torchbearer to the center of the fields and then launch their respective torch at the enemy army, consecrating them as well as the battlefield. In other words, they're calling it like holy ground, basically saying, hey, we fought here, we did this, and, well, this is the result of the battle of these two armies. It's even more confirmed that many lives were lost in this explosion due to Anna going missing during the after losing to the alleged missing. Well, I can't really say she was alleged. It's more like confirmed missing Amelia LaCroix, otherwise known as Widowmaker. Uh, and on top of that, I'd like to also tie in the fact that in Anna's backstory, well, not really much of her backstory. It's more like part of her lore. In the ruins of Necropolis, she was searching for the missing Gabriel Reyes, aka Reaper. The reason why I want to bring this up is to tie in the connection ARES has with both Dead and Torches, as well as the confirmed connection between ARES and Reaper. Necropolis is defined as a cemetery, especially a large one pertaining to an ancient city. But that's not the only thing about it. Necropolis has been proven to be in some way related to Reaper's backstory, more specifically in the forms of monitors showing Reaper and a hieroglyph allegedly depicting him, even though I'm not sure whether people get the idea that it's him. But I guess I want to believe that the hieroglyphs on the Necropolis walls are showing ARES and his battle against Athena, and I think it was Ares' mother. Basically, I think it was Aphrodite. Yeah, Aphrodite was the one who had persuaded Ares in his mythological story that he should fight alongside her against his sister Athena and his mother Hera. I think I might have gotten that wrong. But anyway. So, essentially, I believe that the hieroglyphs that people are referring to, where like it's a photo of, well, not a photo. It's more of the hieroglyphs of a man standing on one side and a man and a woman facing him on the other side. I believe that that's referring to the Battle of Troy. And the reason why I believe it's Necropolis, other than that, is because of the many torches, the signs of a obviously death, and it's really complicated to explain, but it's very much believed to be some form of. Anyway, there's an even bigger connection here. The fact that Anna was there, and I'm going based off the fact that there's the owl skin from the Winter Wonderland, so take it with a pinch of salt, of course. Anna making her hideout in Necropolis, and the fact that Ares is uh, I forgot the name. It was like an owl eel or something like that. It was some kind of bird that was like an owl. Uh, Eagle owl, I think. Eagle owl. There are many statues along the necropolis that shows a statue of a beaked creature, as well as many torches, and the fact that Necropolis is a cemetery basically all tie in to the fact that Ares has some level of influence in the Overwatch backstory. And there was something else that I wanted to cover, but for the life of me, I cannot find it here. But basically, I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, this is all speculation, by the way. So I could be wrong, I could be right. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But I really think that there is a high chance that Ares, the acronym, I guess you would call it, for Ares being in Jeff's live stream of his fireplace. Shout out to Dino Flask. I believe that wasn't at all an accident. I believe that was meant to be there. Not like maybe he put it, Jeff put it in there to throw us off, to make us think of not only just the ship that is there, but also the fact that Ares does play a role in this. Not to mention, on top of that, there is a distinct thread that connects the events of Troy with the possible events in Ilios. For example, in the ruins section of the map, or I guess of the island, most of the pictures of the ruins, like the statues in the center by the objectives, they are very much similar to the actual ruins that were found in ancient Greece, in the city of Troy. There's a story about the lighthouse that that would guide ships that through fogs, not just like your normal passenger ships. I'm talking merchant ships carrying flammable objects and stuff, which is also confirmed by the M261 Orca carrying flammable materials, as I've read on the warning outside the ship. There's just too much evidence to prove that Ares is a strong influence in the role of the fall of Overwatch, and the fact that he's even in the lore in general. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you agree with me, let me know. If you have some theories of your own, share them in the comment section down below, and I will see you all again for the next one. Take care. Goodbye for now.